Welcome to Diligent Wallet, the Money Podcast, the show where we untangle the knots of personal finance and make money simple, practical, and maybe even a little less scary. I'm your host, and I'm so glad you're here today. Because today, we're diving headfirst into a topic that sits at the absolute core of financial well-being, something that affects you, me, and everyone, no matter your income level, age, or life stage, the twin pillars of budgeting and cash flow. It's the foundation upon which every other financial goal, from buying a home to retiring comfortably, is built. In a world of rising costs and economic uncertainty, understanding where your money is going isn't just a good idea. It's an essential survival skill. And before you roll your eyes, hit pause and think, ugh, not another lecture on budgeting. It's boring, it's restrictive, it's for people who are bad with money, and it never works anyway. Let me stop you right there. I get it. I truly do. The word budget has some seriously bad PR. For most of us, our past experiences with budgeting have been overwhelmingly negative. We've all tried it at some point, maybe with a fancy app or a complex spreadsheet we downloaded online. We felt a burst of motivation, tracked every penny for 3 days, and then life happened. We got busy, we overspent on one thing, felt guilty, and gave up entirely. It can feel like a diet for your wallet, a constant exercise in self-punishment where every purchase is scrutinized. It feels like you're being told you can't have any fun, and who wants to live like that? But here's the truth, the fundamental shift in perspective I want to offer you today. Effective budgeting isn't about saying no to yourself. It's about empowering yourself to say a confident and resounding yes. It's about saying yes to the things that truly matter to you. Yes to less stress at the end of the month. Yes to having an emergency fund that acts as a safety net when life throws you a curveball. Yes to building savings that actually grow and last. Yes to that guilt-free vacation. Yes to investing in your own skills or business. When you learn how to track and direct your money the right way, budgeting transforms from a restrictive cage into a key that unlocks financial freedom. It's not about limitation, it's about liberation. It's about becoming the boss of your money, instead of letting it be the boss of you. Think of budgeting like using a GPS for your financial life. You wouldn't set off on a cross-country road trip to a place you've never been without some kind of map or directions, right? You'd end up lost, frustrated, and probably run out of gas. A budget is your financial map. It shows you exactly where you are right now and helps you plot the most efficient route to where you want to go, whether that's a debt-free destination or a retirement paradise. But it's more than just a static map. A good budget acts like a real-time traffic report. It warns you about potential traffic jams, like an upcoming big expense, and helps you navigate around financial accidents, like an impulse purchase that could derail your progress. It gives you the information you need to make smart turns and avoid costly dead ends. Now, let's tackle one of the biggest and most damaging misconceptions out there, that budgeting is only for people who are struggling financially or are bad with money. This could not be further from the truth. In reality, the most successful and wealthiest people on the planet are often the most meticulous budgeters. Think about it. Athletes with multi-million-dollar contracts, entrepreneurs running global companies, even your favorite celebrities, they all have teams of people helping them manage their cash flow. They budget not because they're at risk of going broke, but because they understand that disciplined money management is the key to growing and sustaining wealth. It's not that successful people budget because they have a lot of money. In many cases, they have a lot of money. They are disciplined with their budgeting. It's not about how much you make, but how you manage what you have. Let me share a quick story that illustrates this perfectly. A friend of mine, let's call her Sarah, has a great job in tech, making a salary well into the 6 figures. Yet, she constantly felt broke and anxious. The end of the month was always a scramble. She confessed to me that she actively avoided looking at her bank statements because the stress was too much. Finally, at her wit's end, she committed to tracking her spending for just 1 month. The discovery was shocking. She was spending nearly $400 a month on things she didn't even realize or value. 3 different streaming services she never watched, a premium gym membership she'd used twice, and an embarrassing amount on daily takeout coffees and lunches. It wasn't one big leak, it was a dozen small, invisible drips. The moment she saw the numbers in black and white, it wasn't a moment of shame. It was a moment of empowerment. She canceled the subscriptions, started packing her lunch 3 times a week, and instantly freed up hundreds of dollars. That's the power of clarity. So if it's so powerful, why do we resist it so much? Often it boils down to fear. There's the fear of what we'll find, what I call financial denial. We're afraid to confront the reality of our spending habits because we think it will confirm our worst fears about ourselves. Then there's the fear of failure, or the paralysis of perfection. We think we have to create the world's most perfect, color-coded budget from day one, and when that feels too overwhelming, we do nothing at all. And perhaps the biggest reason is a lack of a compelling why. If you don't have a clear, exciting goal that your budget is helping you achieve, it just feels like pointless deprivation. But here's the good news. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest with yourself and willing to start small. So, let's make this incredibly practical. Your first step is to simply start. I want you to commit to tracking your money for just 1 week. That's it. 7 days. No fancy apps or complicated software required unless you want to use one. You can use the Notes app on your phone, a physical notebook, or even a handful of sticky notes. This is not the budgeting phase. This is the data collection phase. The goal is not to judge yourself or change your habits yet. The goal is to get curious and become an observer of your own financial life. For every dollar that leaves your possession, just make a note of it. Where did it go? How much was it? Don't just write groceries, $150. Get specific. How much was for essentials like milk and bread? And how much was for those impulse buy cookies and that expensive cheese? The more detail, the better. As you track your spending, I want you to also notice how you feel. Most people are absolutely astonished by the profound sense of peace of mind that comes from simply knowing. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room you've been stumbling around in. Before, you were constantly bumping into unexpected bills and tripping over hidden fees. The fear and anxiety came from the unknown. But once the light is on, the fear starts to fade. Suddenly, you can see the layout of the room. You can see the clutter of unnecessary spending you can easily clear away. You can see the door that leads to your savings goal and the window of opportunity for a brighter financial future. That clarity is the first and most important step toward taking back control. And remember, the ultimate purpose of all this is not deprivation. It's about aligning your spending with your values. It's about making your money work for you, so you can spend lavishly and without guilt on the things that truly matter most to you. For you, maybe that's aggressively paying off your student loans so you can be free of that debt 5 years early. Maybe it's building an opportunity fund that gives you the freedom to quit a job you hate and pursue a passion project. Maybe it's being able to afford therapy or a personal trainer to invest in your mental and physical health. Or maybe it's saving for a down payment on your first home, helping your family, or just having enough breathing room at the end of the month to finally relax. Your budget is the tool that makes those specific personal dreams possible. So as we kick off this episode and this journey together, I want you to consciously let go of all the old, tired stories you've told yourself about budgeting being boring, impossible, or only for other people. Let go of the guilt and the shame. Instead, I invite you to see it as a powerful tool for self-care and empowerment. It's your personal blueprint for building the life you truly want, one step, $1, and one intentional decision at a time. In the rest of this episode, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. We'll explore different budgeting methods like the 50-30-20 rule, zero-based budgeting, and cash stuffing, and help you figure out which one is right for your personality and lifestyle. You are more than capable of doing this. You've got this, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. In this episode, I'll walk you through 1. How to track your income and expenses in a way that works for you. Not your neighbor, not your cousin, but your life. 2. How to spot the sneaky habits that quietly drain your money. 3. How to build savings habits that support you, not just today, but for years to come. And listen, if you've tried budgeting before and failed, I promise this will feel different. By the end, you'll have a framework you can start using right away. Let's start with cash flow. At its core, cash flow is just a fancy way of saying money in, money out. But let's get more specific. Money in is your total income, Your salary, yes, but also any side hustle earnings, freelance gigs, or investment returns. It's every dollar that comes into your financial world. Money out is everything that leaves. We can split this into two buckets. Fixed costs, like your rent and car payments, which are predictable, and variable costs like groceries, gas, and entertainment, which fluctuate. The key is that cash flow is the very heartbeat of your financial life. If you don't know where your money is going, you can't control it. Have you ever looked at your bank balance at the end of the month and thought, where did it all go? It's not a magic trick. It's usually death by 1,000 tiny cuts. That daily coffee, the subscription you forgot about, the impulse buys online. That's a cash flow problem. Here's the truth. Most financial stress isn't because you don't make enough. It's because you don't have clarity. Someone making $80,000 a year can feel broke if they're overspending without realizing it. With a high car payment and frequent dining out, they're living paycheck to paycheck despite a good income. Meanwhile, someone making $40,000 can feel secure and even save steadily, simply because they know exactly how their money moves. They have a plan. Imagine driving at night without headlights. You're moving, but you can't see the potholes, like an unexpected medical bill, or the sharp turns, like a sudden job loss, until it's too late. That's living without a handle on cash flow. It's a state of constant anxiety, reacting to your finances instead of directing them. So, how do we turn the headlights on? By tracking. Here's why this simple act is so powerful. First, it creates. When you see, in black and white, that you spent $300 on takeout last month, it's not about guilt. It's about information. That awareness gives you power. The choice is no longer a vague, I should spend less. It becomes a specific, I'd rather put that money towards my vacation fund. You start making active, intentional decisions. Second, it enables. This is where you flip the script from saving what's left over to spending what's left after you save. It's the pay yourself first principle. By automating a transfer to your savings the day you get paid, your financial goals become the priority, not an afterthought. You build wealth systematically. Finally, and most importantly, it builds. Financial confidence doesn't come from a massive salary. It comes from being in control. When you know your numbers, your income, your expenses, your savings rate, you remove the fear of the unknown. A surprise car repair is no longer a catastrophe. It's an inconvenience you have a plan for. That feeling of security, of knowing you can handle what comes your way, is priceless. Quick story, one of my friends once said, I don't know where my money goes. I feel broke every month. She made decent money but was always stressed, so we tracked 1 month together. The shocker? Over $600 on delivery food and random subscriptions she forgot she had. Nothing changed in her paycheck, but the moment she saw it clearly, she cut that in half and built her first emergency fund. That's the power of clarity, and you can do the same. Okay, let's talk about the how. How do you actually get a handle on where your money is going? For many of us, the idea of tracking our spending feels like a chore, like being put on a restrictive diet. But I want you to reframe that. Think of it less like a diet and more like turning on the lights in a dark room. You can't navigate your financial life and avoid obstacles if you can't see what's right in front of you. There are lots of methods, but I'll give you 3 of the most effective, so you can pick the one that truly matches your personality and lifestyle. First up, the classic, manual tracking. This is as straightforward as it gets. Grab a notebook, a journal, or open a simple spreadsheet. Every single time you spend money, you write it down. Yes, it's old school and it requires effort, but trust me, it works on a profound psychological level. Why? Because the physical act of writing forces you to pause and acknowledge the transaction. It makes every purchase tangible and real. That $7 latte or that $15 lunch delivery feels fundamentally different when you have to physically write it out. It's no longer an invisible tap of a card. It's a conscious choice you're recording. The biggest upside here is that your financial awareness goes through the roof. You start to see patterns you never knew existed. Maybe it's the daily afternoon snack from the vending machine that adds up to $60 a month, or the small impulse buys at the checkout counter. The downside is obvious. It takes discipline. And let's be honest, most people quit after a few weeks. It can feel tedious. But here's my hack to make it stick. Instead of tracking every single penny, which can lead to burnout, just track your big 3 categories: housing, food, and lifestyle. That's usually 80% of your spending anyway. Focus on the big rocks, and you'll still get a powerful snapshot of your financial life without the overwhelm. Method number 2 is digital tracking. If manual tracking is analog, this is the high-tech automated counterpart. Apps like Mint, YNAB, or even the built-in tools within your own bank's app will do the heavy lifting for you. You securely connect your bank accounts, credit cards, and loans, and the app automatically imports and categorizes every transaction. It's powerful. It can show you graphs, charts, and trends over time. The upside is that it's incredibly quick, comprehensive, and visual. Seeing a colorful pie chart that shows 30% of your discretionary income went to restaurants can be a massive wake-up call. The downside? It's almost easy. The automation can make you passive. It's easy to ignore the data or become numb to the notifications if you don't intentionally check in. So here's the key. You have to schedule a money date. Set a recurring weekly reminder, say 10 minutes every Sunday morning with your coffee. During that time, open the app and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Are there any transactions that are miscategorized? 2. Did any category spike unexpectedly this week? And 3. How am I feeling about this spending? Am I on track with my goals? That simple, consistent check-in turns a passive data dump into an active, powerful financial tool. And that brings us to our third method, the envelope system, which you can do with cash or digitally. This is old school Dave Ramsey, but it's still golden because it's built on a simple, unbreakable rule. At the start of the month, you assign a specific amount of cash to each of your major variable spending categories. Things like groceries, gas, entertainment, personal care. You put that cash into literal, physical envelopes. When you go to the grocery store, you pay with cash from the groceries envelope. When that money is gone, it's gone. You can't spend any more in that category until the next month. It makes it impossible to overspend. Now, for those who don't love carrying cash, many digital banks now let you create pockets or jars that do this automatically. You can allocate funds to your digital Fun Money pocket, and when you spend, you assign the transaction to that pocket. The upside is foolproof budget adherence. You literally cannot overspend a category. The downside is that it can feel very restrictive, especially if you're not used to hard limits. But try to see it not as restriction, but as freedom. It frees you from decision fatigue. The choice is already made, so you can relax, knowing you're staying on plan. Okay, theory is great, but action is where the transformation happens. So I have a challenge for you. I want you to try this for just 7 days. That's it. Anyone can do anything for a week. Pick one of the methods we just discussed, manual, digital, or envelopes. And for the next 7 days, track every single dollar you spend. Doesn't matter how, just do it. At the end of the week, take 15 minutes to review. Don't just glance at the total. Ask yourself questions. What purchase brought me the most value or joy? What purchase do I barely remember making? Where did I spend money mindlessly? The first time I did this, I discovered my quick coffee habit was costing me over $100 a month. It was a total blind spot. I guarantee you'll find at least 1 or 2 areas where money is leaking out, where your spending is not aligned with your values. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about gathering data. You are becoming the chief financial officer of your own life, and the first job of any CFO is to simply understand the numbers. Once you see it, you can fix it. And that journey starts with this one small, powerful step. Now let's talk about overspending, the enemy of stability. Overspending sneaks in 3 ways. 1. Impulse buys. Ever gone to Target for toothpaste and walked out $100 lighter? We've all been there. 2. Emotional spending. Stress, boredom, even celebration. Shopping becomes a comfort or a reward. 3. Subscription creep. $5.99 here, $12.99 there. Streaming apps, gym memberships you forgot to cancel. Sound familiar? So how do we fight back? Step 1. Awareness. Tracking your spending makes you pause. You literally think twice before swiping. Step 2. The 24-hour rule. If it's not planned, wait a day. 9 times out of 10, you'll decide you don't need it. Step 3. Category caps. Set limits. Example, $100 a month for eating out. When you hit it, you're done. Here's another tip. Make overspending harder. Delete your saved credit cards online. Turn off one-click purchases. The more steps you have to take, the less likely you'll buy on impulse. Remember, overspending doesn't mean you're bad with money. It just means your system needs guardrails. And once those are in place, you'll feel in control. All right, now let's talk about the fun part, savings. Most people think saving is about leftovers. I'll save whatever's left at the end of the month. But here's the truth. If you wait for leftovers, there won't be any. The secret is automation. Here's the system. 1. Pick a small, realistic amount. $10, $25, or $50 a week. 2. Automate it. Have it transfer from checking to savings the moment you get paid. 3. Treat it like a bill. Rent, lights, internet, savings, non-negotiable. Your first goal, $1,000. That's your starter emergency fund. Why $1,000? Because that covers the majority of life's oops moments. A flat tire, a medical bill, a broken fridge, without pulling out a credit card. After that, aim for 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's your safety net. And here's the mindset shift. Saving isn't losing money. It's paying your future self. Imagine future you saying, "Thank you for making my life less stressful. Want a quick motivator?" Give your savings account a nickname. Instead of savings, call it Freedom Fund or Peace of Mind. Every time you transfer money, you're building that freedom. All right, let's pull it all together. Budgeting is not about restriction, it's about direction. Here's your simple blueprint. Track your income and expenses in whatever way works for you. Put guardrails in place to stop overspending before it happens. Automate your savings so it builds stability in the background. Think of it like gardening. If you plant seeds and water them regularly, growth is inevitable. But if you ignore the soil, weeds take over. Your money works the same way. It grows where you give it attention. And the best part? You don't need perfection. You just need progress. 1 week of tracking, 1 overspending habit caught, 1 small transfer into savings. That's progress. That's momentum. Thanks for hanging out with us today on Diligent Wallet. We covered a lot. How to track your money, how to avoid overspending, and how to build savings habits that stick. These aren't quick fixes. They're repeatable steps that build financial stability over time. If this episode helped you, share it with a friend who's trying to get their money in order. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Remember, small steps, smart money. Until next time, keep your money moving with purpose.